everyone, welcome back. We are introducing the Perfectly Holistic podcast, and I am super excited to be here with you guys tonight. If you are watching with us, drop a comment over here either on Facebook or YouTube, and we are live streaming on Instagram. Just guys, I can't see your comments on Instagram, so just know that. So if you want to drop a comment on for anything during the show, come on over to our YouTube platform or Facebook page. So welcome to January, everyone. How was your holidays and how are things going? We have a lot to talk about. It's been a hot minute since I've been on live with you guys. And so I just want to start by saying hi to everyone who is watching. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always fun to see where our reach goes and say hi to people, especially if they're like from really, really far away. It's really cool. We are down here in Central Texas, which I'm calling the Great Frozen Tundra right now. And yeah, it's a little cold here and my feet are freezing. It's like below it's below 20 maybe outside. It's absolutely insanity. We don't have this weather down here in Houston. So we're in the middle of this freeze. Hey, Amanda from Millie's Raw Life. How are you? It's great to see you here tonight. So we've been kind of snowed in, iced in, whatever you want to consider that. We don't really have snow. I think it was just a lot of ice that looks like snow, and it's still everywhere, and it's still below 32 degrees here. So we've been just bundled up and staying cozy, trying to keep the cats entertained and trying to work a little bit at the same time. So how is life out where you guys are? Are you dealing with some crazy weather like half of the United States right now? Hopefully you're staying warm, whatever it is, and your cats are happy. So we're going to talk about some really interesting things tonight. As the title of the show is The Furry Bunch, and for those of you who may have been around in the 70s, you remember a TV show called The Brady Bunch, right? And it's a story of a man named Brady, and I will not sing that for you, but that whole show was about blending two families. He had 3 kids, she had 3 kids, and they had shared a maid, right? So tonight we are going to talk about what's going on in our lives here. As you can probably tell, I'm in a different place. So I have moved from my house that I was leasing to a different house, and basically I am living with my soulmate, John, who is here, and he has 2 cats and I have 4. So we have been preparing for several months for the big move, which was December the 30th. And so we made the big transition, and now I am here with his kitties. And it's been quite an experience. So for any of you who have tried to add a new cat to your multi-cat household, or if you have tried to blend your households, this show is for you. Or maybe you know someone who's going through and really struggling with this. So what I wanted to do tonight is just start by sharing with you what we have done. And we started back in October when we made this plan to actually do the move. We started back then planning things out. And I'll tell you what kind of the thought process and how we've come and how things are going. First of all, I want to say, hey, Amanda, New York is like 15 degrees. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Maybe for a day or so, y'all are used to that, but certainly not for like multiple days on end. I don't know. People up north, y'all probably get a lot more of this than people down here in Texas. So let's just jump in because I don't want to be on here all night with you guys. But if you have comments or questions during the show, go ahead and drop them in. Again, I can't see your comments on Instagram, so come over on Facebook or YouTube and we will definitely address those. So here's what we did. When we decided to go ahead and blend our families back in October, one of the first things that I did was start scent swapping. So what is scent swapping? If you have never heard of scent swapping, it's basically I take some bedding or blanket or cat beds and I send them to his house and he sends me home something from their cats. So a bed, a blanket, whatever they're sleeping on, spending time on, we swapped. And so my cats could start picking up the scents of his cats and vice versa. Now I have 4, he has 2. So mine were, well, it was a little bit mixed, to be honest. Gunner and Skylar tend to not even be phased by the new scents and the new smells, but Aylin didn't want anything to do with that bed. And Breeze was a little cautious at first, but then they started sleeping in those things. And so then after a couple of weeks, we would swap something else. And so we did this process several times over the course of 2 months. We were trading blankets and beds and things like that they were going to sit on or sleep on. And so that was one of the first initial things that we started doing. And I think it was probably very smart because, cats they have such strong scent receptors in their nose, and that gives them a lot of information about their environment. So, one of the if you've ever, just living in a cat household, they sniff each other's butts, right? They're like, who are you? Let me sniff your butt, not your face. That information tells them a lot. So it was a great way to start that introduction process. When we actually did the big move, the big transition, my cats were the last thing, that pretty much the last move of the day that we did. And so he has a big master area wing. Let's call it a master wing, master bath, master bedroom. And so we started in there, and I would close the door. I had 4 litter boxes in that bathroom, and that was their space. We put their cat tree in there. They had all their beds, all their familiar blankets, and this was their safe space for a while. And so Serena and Franklin are the names of his cats. And you guys know mine, Aylin, Skylar, Gunner, and Breeze. And she says the open mouth sniffing too. Yes, they do. They gain a lot of information from their nose. So after a couple days, and I would feed them in the bedroom, and he would feed his cats in their regular area in the kitchen. After a couple days of being basically locked in this master bedroom, Skylar did a jailbreak. Of course, she was the first one. She was the first kitten to break out of the kitten room. So it wasn't such a surprise to me that here she is breaking out, and mad dash. Once that door was open, she's like, I am not staying in this room anymore. So she breaks out, and I don't even remember if it was morning, or I think it was morning. And I couldn't even grab her. It happened so fast. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, so I just kind of monitored the situation, and then Aylin followed her out, and once you open the bottle, you can't put the genie back in. So she was bound and determined to go start exploring her new space. And John had been sleeping in the guest room with his cats at night, and I had been sleeping with my cats in the master area. So we even had them separated at night, because we didn't want to disrupt their normal routines, and we wanted to be still a part of that. So we did that for about a week, but it was one of those mornings that he had gotten up early, because he gets up really early, and the cats were out, and Skylar just did a jailbreak, and I couldn't corral his 2 cats and put them back in the bedroom fast enough. So I was like, okay, we're just going to see how this goes. And surprisingly, it went really, really well. Skylar, she was a little cautious, but she was more curious than anything. And they did respect each other's spaces. And that leads me to something that I left out that I think was really, really instrumental in making this whole process a lot easier. We did an animal communication session with one of my gals, Nina, on December 18th. It was about 2 weeks before we were going to move. And we wanted Nina to talk to all of the cats, all 6 of them, and let them know this is going to be going on. This is happening. This is why it's happening. We are moving. We are going to, combine our families. And we want you guys to be on board with this. We want you to feel comfortable. We don't want you to feel afraid. We just want you to know that we love all of you. We're not replacing anybody. And so Nina did an amazing job of talking to each one of the cats. And she did actually connect with Serena, who is the queen bee over here. And she absolutely adores John. And she wanted John to know, don't forget that I am special. I don't want to be replaced. I want you to remember to treat me like I am special. So that's kind of our running joke. So whenever she needs a little extra attention, we just laugh and go, well, she's special. So we tell her all the time she's special, and she gets her one-on-one time with him, just like she always did. And, he goes out of his way to make her feel extra special, especially when all the other cats are around. That's very important. Franklin has a personality very much like Gunner, who is very laid back, very chill. But Franklin is 16 pounds, and he's a big boy. And he can be a little intimidating to my little, 8-7 pound cats. And I think when they were first meeting, they were more afraid of him because of his size. He has never been aggressive. So it's been really interesting to watch all that. One of the things that they told us out of that animal communication session was, my cats were like, well, we love John. We know him. We're comfortable with that. And his cats were like, well, we love Pam. So, she's great. The consensus was, we'll make it work. We'll do our best to keep out of each other's space, to respect boundaries, and we'll make it work. So that is one of the things that we keep reminding them whenever, there's some hissing going on. I'll just remind them, like, you guys promised you would make this work and you would work at it. So respect each other's spaces. Don't go sniff each other's butts. Stay out of their area when they're trying to eat, so they don't feel threatened by that. So it's what we've done is I have actually separated Franklin and Serena. They used to eat side by side, but he is such a food motivated boy that he would push her out of the way and finish her food. So I said, you know what, baby, we just need to separate. I need us to feed them in different places. So he can focus on his food over here on one side of the kitchen, and she can eat over here in peace on her side. And it's worked beautifully. So be open-minded to changing some of the places that you feed. Not necessarily changing the resources, but changing how they access some of those things. And make sure that their environment feels secure for them. So Serena can be she's the queen. So, she can be a little feisty. She's a calico. And she doesn't like it when her brother Franklin, hones in on her space and picks on her and things like that, which he tends to do. Brothers and sisters will do that. So I think it's more about some jealousy and some resource guarding and things like that. So we've had to do some separation, just of food resources. The other thing that was really interesting is when all of our cats were like, it didn't take very long, days, literally. There was never any fighting. It was more about a little hiss, oh, you're too close. I don't feel comfortable. I'm uneasy. It was some hissing, but it wasn't aggression. It was more, it felt like they were reminding each other that, you know what, I need to back off, or you need to back off because I'm not comfortable with you that close to me yet. Skylar has been the quickest to adapt, and she's typically the most well, except for Gunner, I have to say, he's probably the most fearless. But she wants to play so badly. And so Franklin and Serena have never had outside access until I came along. Um, John adopted them about 6 years ago from a shelter, and they were already at least a year old. And we feel like it's a good probability that they were once outside cats or had outside access at some point, because Serena has been begging and begging for like 5 years, please let me go outside. And she would try to DoorDash, right? And she just wanted to go outside so badly. And so did he, but not as much as she did. So when I came, one of the things that we agreed on trying is to let his cats have outside access to the backyard, provided we did it, supervised it first and make sure they know their space, they know how to find home. When we come in, we would reward them with treats, just, reinforcing like, this is your safe space and you can come in and this and that. So they don't stay out all day, and it's been actually way too cold. But Serena has been the most adventurous and the most naughty, because now she's going over the fence to the neighbor's yard. And, that's not really what we wanted. But what do you do? I mean, cats are cats. But she doesn't go far, and she always comes back. So she's always within, typically the next door neighbor's house behind them. She taught Skylar how to do that, which I'm not really excited about at all. We call her a bad influence. So Skylar's been grounded for like the last several days because she went to the front yard, and I saw her walking through the bushes right here in front of where I work, and ran outside and corralled her and brought her inside, and she's been grounded. So I'm probably going to end up doing another animal communication session with her to explain that she cannot come into the front yard. She has to stay in the backyard if she's going to go outside. So that has been a little bit challenging because she's a strong-willed child, if there's such a thing in a cat. But she loves the outdoors so badly, but I just don't feel comfortable with her. She's not a street smart cat. She is a spoiled indoor cat who enjoys outside in the backyard. So I'm real cautious about that. But I do think it's beneficial to give them more space. So they're not cooped up, even though the house is a large house, they're not cooped up in front of each other all day long. They have a lot of space to spread out. They've found their new favorite hangouts, and, some of my furniture we brought over, and my cat's left some of his stuff. And so it's worked out great. So they have some new areas to explore or to sleep on. And they've done beautifully getting used to each other since. But we still have a little bit of issue just with the hissing. And actually, Breeze is the one who is the most timid. And I would say, what's the word? She is cautious. She's the most cautious. She's untrusting so far, being around Serena and Franklin. And she can be a little aggressive. And so we really have to watch her and make sure that she feels safe. So if I have to, I just pick her up, I take her out of this situation so she can feel safe. And, we're just constantly having to monitor the other cats, Serena and Franklin, when she's around, just because I don't want them to turn and be aggressive to her. So I probably need to do another session with Breeze and just talk to her and kind of get her insight about, why are you feeling so uncomfortable and so, defensive? And it looks offensive because nobody is growling at her. She's instigating it, if that makes sense. So we're gonna probably look at doing another session with our communicator and see if we can kind of get past that roadblock with her, because she's the slowest to come along. Aylin has been pretty good, but she's so tiny. I really feel like some of her fear is just the size of the other cats. She's barely 7 pounds. Franklin's 16 and Serena's probably 11. So 10 or 11, something like that. So she can get a little intimidated, and she does it with Skylar and Breeze too. They can be a little intimidating and a little too rambunctious. Serena and Franklin are not that way. They're so calm. They were so calm the first couple weeks with my cats out and about and milling around in their space and exploring everything. And Franklin and Serena are just kind of chilling out on the couch, like, yeah, whatever. It was really amazing to watch that. And I really attribute that to the animal communication session and the scent swapping that we started, a couple months back. The other thing that my cats have access to that I feel like they've utilized in some level is color therapy. So there's a lot of red in the master bedroom, and there's red on one of Aylin's favorite blankets that we put out. So they have that. There's a blanket with a lot of purple, which is great for anxiety. So that's out there, and they can access that. There is, it's very calm here. So there's not loud noises, there's not loud neighbors, there's not barking dogs. So it's been great just to have, calm, quiet environment. And they do enjoy, meditation music and things like that. So I will put some of that on, or just, soft, calming music that helps them feel safe and relaxed. So that's been really helpful as well. I'm trying to think if there was anything else that was really instrumental. We do feed them still in separate areas. So my kids are still eating in the master bedroom. And I tend to close the door because that way they can eat without any worry of anybody coming in and trying to finish their food that's not eaten, and just give them more reassurance that everything is safe. So that's been working well, is keeping the door shut when they eat. Now, at nighttime, it's been real interesting because we are both in the master bedroom now. That lasted for about a week. And I'm like, you know what? There's really no reason for us to keep sleeping in separate rooms. When he would come over, everybody was in the bed together. And when I would come over, everybody was in the same bed together. So it's like, we don't really need to worry about that too much. So what's interesting, though, is his cats are still in their normal routine. They have their favorite places on the couch that they like to sleep on, or there's a tall perch on top of one of the dressers that Serena has always loved to sleep on. So she'll go sit up there at night in the master bedroom, but all four of my cats are under the covers, and they're all piling on me for the most part and around me at night. So that hasn't changed anything, which is great. And sometimes Franklin will creep up and sleep on John at night, like down between his feet or his legs, which he commonly does. So he feels safe to come in the middle of the night and do that. Serena will sometimes come in and bury under the covers next to John because she's special. And so that is going well. It's kind of funny. It's like when they don't know that each other's around and they're in that close proximity, everything's fine. It seems to be around meal times more so it might be more resource guarding and food resources and things like that. So we're going to keep evaluating and keep watching all of that. One of the things that's important to think about when you are blending families is the diet that they're on. So his cats, because of his wild, crazy work schedule and sometimes travel, he would just use an automatic feeder and feed dry food in addition to some wet food. Well, that obviously changed when he met me. So we started transitioning months ago with freeze-dried food in the feeder, got them completely off the dry kibble. They were on freeze-dried and wet food. And then let me back up. So probably about October-ish, he started incorporating raw food into their wet food. And so they were getting a blend of raw and wet and freeze-dried. So when I came along, I told him, I said, I'm going to put everybody on a raw diet because it's just easier to feed everybody the same thing. He's like, oh, that's fine. That's fine. So basically, their transition to full raw food took about 2 days because they were already used to it. We got rid of the automatic feeder. That's not even a thing anymore. So they stopped worshiping that. And they got on a meal schedule. So we have breakfast, we have lunch, and we have snacks during the afternoon. or like midday, and then we might do snacks at night before bed. And they're all on the freeze dried, really healthy snacks, treats. So some of our favorite brands are Green Juju, Northwest Naturals. Um, we have the Rooster Bites. We have several. I'm trying to think of all of them. Um, there's Simple Food Project, Hoppers. Um, I'll have to think of the rest. Can't think of it at the moment. But just single ingredient, like even some egg puffs with catnip in them. Um, we try to do a variety of different ones and rotate all of that so they get exposed to more proteins and more flavors. So that's been great. They're right now everyone is eating a blend of either Quest or Darwin's or Northwest Naturals. Um, and that's going great. Oh, and we actually have some small batch I'm about to introduce to his kitties in the next day or so. So, you know, they're doing great. I add a little bit of goat's milk. I do sardines with them and the sardine water, and I mix it all together. Put some supplements in there, and basically just warm the bowls up in the sink in some hot water. And then once it's warm, I just dish it out, and I feed Franklin and Serena first because they were here first. And so when I'm done, I carry all the platters into the master bedroom and feed my cats in there. So that is how it's going. Interestingly enough, today was a little odd. We had, I don't even know who instigated what, but there was all of a sudden some screaming coming from the kitchen. And it was Franklin, Serena, and Skylar in the dining room area. And Skylar was looking like she was about to get attacked, and she was very, very defensive, but I couldn't see anybody close to her. So I don't know what happened, and he wasn't around at the time, so John doesn't know what happened. But I basically just pulled Skylar out, I grabbed her, and I came into the office and I closed the door and I did some energy work on her, and she calmed down. She was fine. So I don't know what all that was about, other than I had to clear Franklin and Serena as stressors for her. I don't know who instigated what, or if somebody just got too close, or if there was jealousy involved, because Serena and Franklin have been going outside, even in this frozen tundra we're going through. But I won't let Skylar out because, unless she's being supervised, and bless his heart, John has been great. He's like, I'll take her out and I'll watch her. And so she's out for like 5 minutes. She's like, oh no, I'm done. It's too cold for my pampered cats. Right. So I don't know what that was all about and what triggered that whole eruption, but things calmed down really, really quickly. One thing that I will say is I've had to do a lot of energy work for all of the cats, just clearing the dysresonance between them. Dysresonance is basically energy that doesn't jive. It's not on the same level. So someone's making somebody upset or worried or fearful or angry or whatever. So doing the energy work has been a lifesaver because it clears that negative energy between them instantly. And so after a few minutes of being separated, they can go back and commingle again and not have the same reactions that made them upset previously. So that is by far one of the most important things, aside from the animal communication and the scent swapping. I would say those are like the top 3 most important things that you can do to give you the best outcome. Because, to be quite honest, I've never introduced an adult cat into my family. It's always been kittens, because kittens aren't viewed as threatening. So it's so much easier, right? You can just introduce a baby. It doesn't mean that there's not going to be any resistance. But introducing fully grown adult cats to each other can be very challenging, especially if you have one that wants to be an only cat. So, and there are those situations, but fortunately that is not our situation. All of our cats have been very at least in the animal communication sessions, they've been very agreeable to make it work. We'll figure out how to, we'll make this work for you guys. We know it's important. And, his cats love me. I love them. John loves my cats. They absolutely adore him. He's like a cat magnet. I swear. We'll be sitting down watching TV or something, and my cats just come over and they want to sit on him. They'll curl up between us. Skylar loves to just put her paws on his chest, and she just sits there and purrs. I mean, all of the cats do. They come over to him like he's always been their dad, which is amazing. So yeah, we're getting there, and we've made huge progress. And I think it's gone very quickly compared to if we hadn't done all that preparation work in advance. It can certainly help speed up the process. But one of the most important things I guess I want to leave you guys with is just communicating to your cats in advance, talking to them, letting them know what's going on, what's the plan, why is this happening, or what is going to happen, and why is it going to happen, so that they're not blindsided and all of a sudden you have movers coming and you're packing boxes and they're like, I don't know what's going on. And one of the interesting things that Aylin told my communicator Nina before we even moved, and she checked in with her, Aylin was afraid of getting lost. And Nina was like, you're not going to get lost. We're going to make sure that you're safe and that you're going to get moved safely with everybody, and we won't lose you. So it's very interesting. Her perspective was that she might get lost. And I'm like, oh, baby girl, I'm not going to lose you. I promise. And so I had to keep telling her that you're not going to get lost. And even on the day of the move, I did tell her, you're not going to get lost. I've got you. You're going to come in the car with everybody else, and you're going to be just fine. And so that first night, everybody slept in the bed with me and nobody hid. It's like, okay, a lot of familiar things. Our bedding was there. My bed was there. Their furniture was there. So it's like, it's a different room, but there's a lot of similar, a lot of the same furniture and smells. So, and of course, they've always just slept in the bed with me, which is great. Nobody hid. Everybody did their normal thing, which was awesome. And making sure that Serena feels like she is his queen. She is special. That has been very important for her well-being. Just putting her first, acknowledging her first before he acknowledges the other kitties, so that she doesn't get jealous and things like that. But yeah, that's what I wanted to share. So if you guys have had any experience, definitely let me know what it's been like to incorporate new adult cats into your multi-cat household, if you've done that before. And if you're considering that, or know someone who's going to be doing that, have them watch the show. And we have great animal communicators here at Perfectly Holistic. Or if you know someone that, definitely go do a session with your cats before you actually do your move, and let them know what's going to happen, so that they're not blindsided, and get their buy-in, because that was important. We asked them, what they thought about everything, and they promised us, we'll make it work. We will make it work. And they have really stepped up and done beautifully at doing that for us. What they don't realize is we're going to have another move in about 5 months. So it's going to be it's going to be a big move. And that is one of the reasons we did this now and joined our families, our little furry bunch. We combined them now rather than waiting till the end of May, early June for a move across the country, because that's coming. And we'll be going to Virginia Beach for a couple of years, where his next post is. He's in the Army. So yeah, that's the thing. But I can't state enough how awesome using communication is, using scent swapping. And Vicky's here. She goes, I love Kate. She's amazing. Kate is amazing. When you have someone just a super gifted and talented animal communicator, they're gold. They are worth every penny of any of that you spend to communicate with your pets. I can't encourage you highly enough to do that. Even if you're not joining households, if you're, whatever might be going on, if you have a sick cat, if something's going on in your family, talk to them. If they're acting out, if they're acting strange or having some personal or, health or emotional issues going on, talk to them, get their input, ask them how you can support them or how they need to be supported. Because that's basically what we did. And it's been working really well. It's going to, it's been 4 weeks already tomorrow. And I can't believe it's been 4 weeks. It feels like it's been longer than that, actually. But I think over the next 4 weeks, things will even continue to smooth out and get it even better. And our goal is for them just to be, hanging out side by side. Ultimately, it would be great if they can become really good friends and playmates, because I know Skylar and Breeze would absolutely love to have more playmates, because they're, Aylin and Gunnar are a little older and they're not so interested in playing, like crazy 2.5-year-olds or 3-year-olds. So I think, with Serena and Franklin being about 6, between 5 and 6 or so, they're a younger age. They're like, they're 3 years apart. So they're closer in age, and they'll probably do great if they can just get to the place where they can really trust in being each other's company without, being wary or defensive or just on edge, because that's the goal. And I think we're going to get there. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So I would say for all of you cat parents who are going through something like this, pack your patience, plan your journey, get your communication lined up, start your scent swapping, start working on diet. If the diets are different, start working on those steps even apart. Have someone do energy work for you to clear anything that's going on that's negative between them, to clear the fear so they can feel safe around each other. So that would be my top pieces of advice. And then I would say, just take it day by day. You're going to have good days and you're going to have some iffy days, but as long as you keep having more good days, as the longer things go on, and positive reinforcement, and feeding them. Like, I love doing their snacks in the afternoon or, midday when they're all around each other, and I'm just basically rewarding them for good behavior. And they love it. So, food can be a huge motivator, especially when you're with this crowd over here. So use things like that to their advantage. And playtime, we pull out the wand toys. They absolutely love that. So giving them some exercise, giving them some outdoor time when we can, just whatever, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. Whatever you can do to make their life as normal as possible so that everybody gets along and it's not interrupting their routine. So that's my best advice. Vicky says, I'm going to use Kate before I go to Alabama to see my daughter and granddaughter in April. Oh, that's right, because you're getting a pet sitter. That's a great idea. Amanda says she heard that helps them read a scent better. Oh, when they breathe with their mouth. Yes, there's some olfactory glands, I think, on the roof of their mouth. So it helps them smell things better. So yes, that is correct. Is there any other questions? Because that was really all I wanted to share with you guys tonight. But if you have any questions, definitely drop them in the comments. And if you're listening to the show after the fact, when you're catching the replay, definitely drop a comment. We'll get back to you. If you have questions, you can definitely reach out. So anyway, if you want to learn more about animal communication, you can go to shop.perfectlyholistic.com and look under services and look under animal communication, or find an animal communicator that you know online, or someone that's referring you, someone that has used someone that they feel super comfortable with or can highly recommend. That's how we do it. Vicky says, when should I have them talk to Kate? Even just a few days before you leave is fine. Just give give them a little bit of heads up and warning, and just let them know that it's all going to be great, and their cat sitter will be amazing and come take care of them and play with them, and tell them when you're going to be back, how many moons before you return. That's very important to let them know that when you will be coming back too. Yeah. Any other questions before we say goodbye? I'm excited to hear what you guys think. And best wishes if you're in this journey, if on a similar journey as us. We'll keep you guys posted on future shows. Yeah, and I can't believe it's almost February. So have a great rest of your evening and great rest of your January, and we'll be back with another show really soon. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Good night.